Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Avexia webinar series. Our topic for today is Elevating Testing from Transactional to Transformational, Strategic Roles of Testing in Clinical Practice. Today, we have the distinct pleasure of being joined by an exciting guest, Tracey Stroup, ND, Chief Health and Growth Officer at GetHealthy.store, who will be our presenter for this webinar. Tracey Stroup earned her Bachelor of Science degree from Pennsylvania State University in Exercise and Sports Science in 1997. She furthered her education by receiving her designation as a naturopathic doctor from Trinity School of Natural Health and Certified Natural Health Professional. Tracey is a Level 2 digestive therapist from the Food Enzyme Institute. Tracey is the Vice President of Innovation and Growth at GetHealthy.store and an integrative and functional medicine educator. She has been in the health and wellness industry for over 20 years, working for many large companies and owning several of her own businesses. She is an entrepreneur, business coach, national speaker, writer, and most importantly, wife, mother, and lover of Jesus. Without further delay, I will now turn the webinar over to Tracey.
Hey everybody, welcome to the GetHealthy.store and Avexia co-branded webinar. Today we're going to be talking about elevating testing from transactional to transformational. So today I'm going to discuss strategic roles of testing in your clinical practice, give you a few ideas of how you can take it to market, separate yourself from the mass volume of really bad information out there, and utilize testing to become the expert in your field. So just a little bit about me. I'm the Chief Health and Growth Officer right here at GetHealthy.store. I started out in the fitness industry, quickly moved into naturopathic medicine. I am now in the industry about 25 years and absolutely love what I do here at Get Healthy. So influencer versus clinical influencer. I just want to start here. There is a lot of information out there, a lot of people that are putting information out who are not clinicians. And I have nothing bad to say about their information. I'm simply saying that when you are a clinician and you're dealing with one-to-one patients, you have a better understanding and assessment of true health needs, not just a one-to-many marketing ploy, but an actual outcome with data and statistics that you can share with people that are experiencing the same health problems. So, what I would like you to consider yourself today is a clinical influencer. And a clinical influencer doesn't just move products, they move people and they move them into lasting health. And testing is just more than influence, it's expertise. So when you utilize testing in your clinical practice as a standard of care, it allows for what I call health stewardship. This relationship between you and your patients. It empowers your patients. It helps with your reputation because you're ethical, you're giving data-driven decisions, and it's a specialty. It requires your interpretation and expertise. So out with the old influencer model, we're moving into the new with the clinical influencer here today. So we're going to move into what was the old model versus what was the new model. So old model was testing offered as an optional upsell. Today, with a clinical standard of care, the new model is that testing is non-negotiable. It's a part of your ethical and personalized care. As a clinical influencer, you need to normalize testing as part of your onboarding, not as a bonus, not as a secondary investigation tool, but as something that you put out in the front to get the right results for people in a more timely manner. In the old model, testing was used as bait or lead magnets. In our new model, we are going to use testing to honor the body and protect the patient. So your marketing verbiage is going to be that health stewardship or medical stewardship. We're going to position testing as a way that you are protecting your patients from all of the noise and bad information that's out there. We're going to make data-driven decisions. So testing becomes sacred, not salesy. And clinical influencers elevate its value. So that's what we really need to do when we're looking at testing. And then you have product alignment versus patient empowerment. So with the old model, you would use testing to match supplements. In the new model, we're going to use testing to actually reveal root cause and empower future informed choices. So, as that clinical influencer, you're using testing to support healing, not just move products. Obviously, we're going to have supplements that we utilize to help people hit those numbers and improve those numbers, but we're not going to do a pill for every marker or a pill for every ill. We build phases and protocols based on what they can do, what they will do, and what they can afford to do. So, in the old model, using testing, it focused on increasing the average sale, or what we call the client lifetime value. And while that tends to happen organically with great content that you provide your people, we went testing to focus really on results, trust, and long-term transformation with you. So, I would advise you not to rush through your protocols or even through your programs. When you have testing and you can test and not guess, you can put that in the forefront as part of the program as a data-driven decision maker. And then you can also utilize testing through your program so that they can see changes tangibly as they heal. This is more ethical, and ethical care becomes your best marketing strategy. People know that you're not just trying to sell them a product or sell them more products. You're selling them specific health enhancing products that are directly related to their tangible outcomes. And so that becomes a more ethical way. And so in the old model, anyone can order tests. And that's true. Anyone can order tests. A person can walk into LabCorp and order their own tests. The difference is the specialty that you offer. And this is the interpretation. That's your specialized clinical skill. And so when you're out there talking about your testing, talking about your programs, positioning yourself as an expert with the specific clinical skill is extremely important. Because as a clinical influencer, you're going to decode and deliver transformation. That's the most important thing. So when you're looking at how do I position this marketing? How do I put myself out there and become this influencer because I've always been in clinic? Well, you move from hype to healing with data-driven influence. It's the easiest way to do it. So one, lead with education. Don't use hype. Don't be like, hey, this detox tea changed my life. Talk about function. Talk about how your liver actually detoxifies and what lab markers you would see improve when that actually happens. We have a very educated consumer today. They want to know that what they're doing works, and they do a lot of research in order to get the information. So, clinical influencers teach before they pitch. And that's going to be a big reminder for you that when you get out there in the social media world, you want to educate before you sell. Very important part. So, we also want to use testing outcomes, case studies, and clinical insights and highlight the why the person got results, not just what they did. So, you kind of show the data is greater than the drama, right? You're showing receipts. So, here's an example. Here's what her Dutch test showed before and after 90 days on her protocol. These me stories or testimonies are super powerful. Not just people saying how great your program is, but you presenting the data. Super powerful way to market. And then speak to the root, not to the trend. So avoid fads unless you're explaining the physiology behind them, right? Anchor messages and science, not popularity. An example would be, is high cholesterol really bad? Or are there better markers to look at to determine cardiovascular risk? Getting people away just from a baseline lipid panel to things like APOA, APOB, and LP little a that are true cardiovascular markers versus just high cholesterol sets you apart. And it gets to the root, not to the trend. Where everyone's trying to explain why cholesterol is a good guy, you can set yourself apart looking at different markers than what everybody else is looking at. And then you want to build trust through transparency, which means you're going to share your clinical thinking, not just your outcomes. You're going to talk about your process, your tests, your protocols, the timeline of what you're looking at, when you're going to retest. And then, a good example would be we used a GI map to assess gut health instead of guessing, and here's what we found. And so when you kind of explain the factors behind the gut health test, the accuracy, the results that people are getting, you're being transparent as to what your clients and patients can expect. And then be a practitioner who posts. I post all the time about everything, my reels. This was my do-it-yourself face, tongue, nail analysis for just the consumer to learn how to look at their face, their tongue, and their nails and make some simple health assessments. Now, it's not necessarily a test, but it is an analytical based decision. And it starts to educate and move my consumer base to understanding validation when they're making health choices. My next step could be, hey, let's do some blood work and find out the real root cause of why you're seeing the puffiness under your eyes or dark circles, whatever that might look like. So, show the behind the scenes. Let people see what real care looks like. And, tell people every client starts with this test so we can stop guessing from day one. Put the expectation out there. So, your content pyramid, if you want to go out and clinically influence, would be at the base your brand, your voice, and your philosophy. Who are you? What do people know about you? How would they describe you? People basically know me for health, health freedom, and Christianity. That's what they know me for. That's my brand. That's my voice. Those are the three topics I talk on. And so, with that, I've built a trust within my community and an emotional connection because people align with what I believe in. And then I provide educational content to back what I'm saying, whether it's lab data driven decisions, physiology, philosophy, or even health insights. I'm always giving them content that's going to give them value. Now, it's not always free content because you don't want to attract just free people. You sometimes want to put a price on something. I might create a $27 course, something very affordable. And then I also provide case studies and testimonials. This builds credibility and social proof. Most of the time, I'm utilizing myself or somebody close to me or one of my clients with a case study of something that I did and the effective results. And those, I will tell you, drive more traffic. You want to move from me to we. So rather than focusing on lifestyle or guiding others, like I eat this or I do that, you become the guide, not the hero. So the message would be your body has a map, testing helps us read it. I help you interpret it and apply what we learn. So it's not me telling you what you need, it's we together are going to figure this out from data-driven decisions, and we work together as a team. So, what makes you a clinical influencer? You're not going to chase trends, that's for sure. I mean, if you see something in the market that's big and you think you need to pivot, do it in a way that's ethical. Use clinical data, don't guess, guide, test, gives you the truth, transforms health. And that's the difference between someone dealing hype and someone dealing health. It's very different. So, the test that I tend to offer, I have my own panel that I created in Avexia, and we'll talk more about the integration with Get Healthy, but everyone gets this test with me. It's a low price, anywhere from $74 to $115. I also teach a course called Beyond the Blood Work in my academy that helps practitioners interpret their own blood work, also helps them create a new tool within their network so they can utilize blood work now within their practice. But it sets them apart because they're learning how to look at something differently and giving answers that people are not getting in the industry. When blood work was basically brought to the market, it was based on 1,000 sick people. So we know that the ranges are too wide, and normal values can actually have symptomology within them. So we need to get to functional. So be an expert, look at things differently, take educational classes to do that. The GI map or fit test, all health begins in the gut. That's an easy segue. Top four medications that are prescribed in the US are GI meds, and over 230,000 people die every year of GI complications. So, this test offers you a lot of information in one place, the GI map. Fit tests are a little bit less on the gut integrity and dysbiosis of the gut, but will give you sensitivity. So one or the other is an easy way for you to have conversations with your clients and give you a ton of data. Mold is big, mast cell activation right now. Heavy metal and mineral testing is always a big one. I like these two because they're non-invasive. These are urine tests. They're pretty simple to do. They're done at home. It gives a level of control to your patients and clients and also gives you a lot of data. So if you like Dutch, if you like different testing, that's great. But start to put yourself out there and claiming to be the expert interpreter of these markers and why that test outweighs other things that you see in the market. And you want motivated clients, clients that are seeking more than just a pill for a meal, clients who will invest in the truth, and clients that will participate in the health journey. You don't want freebie takers. If your algorithm is a bunch of people that just want free stuff from you, then you're not going to get buyers. You're not going to get people that are motivated to heal thyself. And you'll be able to very quickly figure that out by posting something and then on the back end selling something, and you'll see what your conversion rate is. And that's okay. Some people follow you for information and other people follow you for transformation. Biggest thing I'll tell you is position yourself as the expert. No one's going to call you an expert before you do. You're always going to be the first person that calls yourself an expert. And if your expertise is in the interpretation and not just the offering, say that. You can get a test anywhere. People can order them online, but you really need the expert behind it to make sure that you're making the right decisions. And so there are more benefits of offering testing just beyond the amazing outcomes that your patients and clients will experience. Let's talk about a few of those. Obviously, it's a revenue multiplier. When you bundle a test with consultations and follow-up plans, you're increasing your average transaction value, right? You're also opening the door to supplement sales. And if you have your Avexia account connected to your Get Healthy store, or if you don't have an online store, I would advise sticking around to the end of this, which is only a few more minutes, so I can introduce you to our software platform where we very easily build you a store within 5 days with all of the products that you trust and love that you select. So, repeat testing creates a cycle, and that cycle of income and enhancing patient care and community. Testing offers retention and compliance. So when people see their numbers, they're more motivated. Hopefully, I hope they don't go down and they're less motivated, but they're mostly more motivated. And retesting demonstrates progress. It validates both your care and their efforts, and it builds loyalty. So don't be afraid to offer testing within your clinical practice for long-term care. Testing is also a differentiator. In a crowded wellness market, you have testing, which sets you apart, and also your expertise in interpreting it. It positions you as a clinician rather than a coach, and it allows you to provide precision care, not just general wellness advice, and it creates a status that brings you above the influencers that are just talking about major topics or supplements or just trying to sell somebody something. And it's also a good communication tool, right? Also a good education tool. When your patients can understand how they got to where they are, they feel more empowered that they can get out of it. So lab results give a visual, they give an objective of understanding. It transforms your consults from theory to tangible insight. And then they feel empowered and involved. We want them involved in their journey. I always tell my clients, I hope someday you can fire me. That way I know that you're healthy and you can send somebody back to me that needs me because they may not need me anymore. I want an educated, empowered client, but I also want them to respect and be loyal enough to me so that they continue to participate with me. And then testing as a legal and liability safeguard. When you have objective testing, it creates a paper trail of clinical decisions. That's a big thing. And in the event of a complaint or a dispute, you can demonstrate that care was based on data and best practices. Right or wrong, you did your best. So this legal protection is especially valuable in high touch point or high ticket care models. And then testing as a professional development driver. Staying current with lab interpretation, taking courses, this deepens your clinical skill. And so it's going to open up doors to mentorships, network opportunities, more certifications, and even speaking opportunities. As you become an expert in something, it's not just your clients that benefit, but brands will want you. The testing companies will want you. That has happened to me where I go and I speak on testing and interpretation, and it also positions you not just as a practitioner, but an expert and educator in your field. And it's accurate and personalized. This is not just throwing supplements spaghetti style on the wall. This is actually removing the guesswork from your practice. And it gets to the root cause of symptoms. So you're creating more compliant and efficient protocols. You get faster results and higher patient satisfaction. So, coming out of this, you want to lead with insight, serve with integrity, let your lab speak for your impact. The future of functional and integrative care isn't driven by trends, it's by truth. So, as a clinical influencer, you're going to use testing to elevate you from just being transactional in the chair to a transformational standard. So, you want to shift those marketing gimmicks to medical stewardship. Build the trust through data, empower your clients with clarity, and deliver results that define reputations. So at Get Healthy, we've actually built a full integration with Avexia Diagnostics, where your testing, even your custom created panels, can be built into your store so that you can not only script them on the back end, but you can sell them in a marketplace through the front of your store, including blood serum tests. So, in a single platform, you can dispense not only supplements and other wellness products like courses, books, red lights, saunas. Think about how you practice as a lifestyle practitioner, but you can also include their diagnostic tests. And so, this is your brand, your store, your way. And so, practitioners love this because you own the relationship. Everything's all in one place. You're not juggling multiple platforms. There's not multiple affiliate links. You don't have inventory. You don't have to carry the specialty tests. It's really a turnkey marketing tool with emails, social media, and more. And the best part is sign up and get your stores so easy. So you basically sign up, you get a link to start to curate your catalog. So you control the brands, you control the products on your store. And it is owned by you, but it's operated by our tech team. We take care of customer service, any issues you have with credit card processing and your customers. Everything is taken care of for you, including product page builds, the colors, your brand uploaded, your logo, your name, everything. And so that you can start selling and growing within 5 days. So if you don't have a Get Healthy store, I would encourage you to book a free demo with one of our account managers. This is a free demo, and it does include a real person where you can ask all of your business questions and you can find out if this is the right fit for your practice and also for your clinical needs. Because we do have not only a full store where people can shop just like an Amazon experience, but we also have a dispensing tool in the back where you can script protocols and your supplements and other non-supplement products to your patients and clients. High compliancy, people that have a Get Healthy store, 90% of their clients keep coming back. That's a huge statistic because I will tell you now, if you're selling supplements out of your clinic, that second purchase is not going to you. 42% of your people will circumvent you and go on Amazon. But if you have your own store and you can direct people to that store to make it convenient for them to buy, they will come back to the person that they know, like, and trust, their health advisor, which is you. So thank you for your time today. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can go to GetHealthy.store /contact, schedule a demo, or send us an email. I hope you have a blessed day.
For any questions or issues, you may contact Avexia Diagnostics by email at info@avexiadiagnostics.com or by phone 5 days a week at extended hours, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time at 888-852-2723. Thank you, Tracey, for this informative presentation. Thank you again for joining us for this webinar event. Until next time, from everyone at Avexia Diagnostics and GetHealthy.store, stay healthy, Stay safe, and we wish you all the best on your pathway to wellness.